When we say editing or the editorial function, um, I think we're more familiar with the two things about editing. One would be about checking errors or something like making sure that the story is coherent, which is more like in in a deeper understanding of journalism and its departments. It's what is called copy editing, and another one is like editing is in writing the editorials of the news outlet we are in. But now this morning we're going to go beyond that, those two functions, because there's so much more in being an editor or in the editorial function that goes beyond our usual layman's notion about the editorial function in a news organization. Normally, when you're an editor, you've already gone through in your life experience and in your career as a journalist, you're required to have at least a minimum of field exposure. You know what goes on in the field, or you have experience in the field, or maybe you've also been through that part of journalism, which is the middle part, just writing or processing stuff. But this entails that you're not an empty vessel. You're just doing the copy editing function, which actually anybody could do without any field experience. Now, something that's related to what I'm saying is that that field experience is something that is very important to what we were talking about this morning, because this is where you get experience, where you get to have stories which are in a way already history, because they are already in the past, but somehow these things are related to the present here, to the present work of editing. So the aspect of editing that we're not we don't talk much outside the edit outside the editorial room or the newsroom is that you play an interconnecting function with things in the past to the stories of the present, something that's expected considering that you already have that prior experience. So that's a part of the editorial function that is often overlooked, but it's actually a very, very vital part of a self-respecting news organization. It is the responsibility of editors to be able to connect stories of the day with stories in the immediate past or even in the past itself. Your news writers, your foot soldiers, your field reporters are so busy trying to have fidelity with what's going on in their respective areas that they won't have the time to connect these things to a larger picture, not only of the present day picture, but the larger picture of where we were in the past, the recent past. And it's your responsibility as an editor to be doing that. If you don't run that function, if you don't fulfill that function, your news outlet is just going to be some kind of tape recorder that records the events of the day, and at the end of the day, it regurgitates it back to the public. Everything that is recorded in the technology. That's not news. That's simply recording. News is about trying to balance things out, weigh things out, which are important issues of the day, which can be relegated to the weekend read, which needs to be read now because they have more prominence in terms of their relevance in time. So that's it. And that thing is, as an editor, that's also, in order for that thing to happen, for that interconnectedness of things in the present and in the immediate past, it's not only, as an editor, you don't just work through copies. You work through your reporters, you work through your news writers, sometimes to the point of giving them advance information about, or a briefing about the most comprehensive things that you know so far about the subject, which the field reporter or field news writer is covering. Although it is expected that as field reporters, if you're a news reporter, you're supposed to have extensive knowledge of that. But at the same time, it also pays to have double checking from a news editor or an editor knows what's also has a comprehensive knowledge about what's happening or some things in the past, so that you can put two and two together to have a better or more coherent and more understandable, more complex understanding of the events of the day. And as I've said, usually if you're a reporter, you're moving from one event to another event, to another activity the day, and that you no longer have the time to stop and try to remember something about yesterday or something that happened last year. You don't have that luxury. As events unfold, you have to be there. So whose responsibility is it to look through, to sift through the past stories and make this connectivity? It is your editor. It is the editorial function. It's something that's overlooked because when we think of editing, just really, as I've said, our usual notion about editing is actually the copy editing function, which if you are very good in English, you can do. But that's just part of editing, especially if you're editing news. You have to have knowledge. As I've known, AI is not working for that part of editing. AI works only for writing news. There are some news stories that are appearing in Western websites. They're actually written by AI algorithms and no human intervention. Like in sports news, that's happening. But to put all these things together and give a background or an history, AI can't do that. So you need a good editor or good panel of editors to do that for you.